Hi, lovely people. It's Hila, Saturday Night Stitch. Thank you for tuning in. We have some more sewing projects, but this time we've got a bunch of separates to go through. So let's dive straight into it. By the way, this is part 3 of 3. If you haven't watched the first 2 parts, find the links in the description box down below. You will not regret it. It's a ton of fun. And while you're here, hit the subscribe button for new sewing related content every single week. We're gonna jump in with Burdastyle 8 2020, and these are two separates that I actually had made as part of my planned sewing mix, so there's an extra level of smug pride here because I actually managed to do my sewing plans within the month of the actual issue, so it's always a happy time when I manage to do that. So the top pattern is style number 103, the skirt pattern is style number 112. Now that skirt pattern, I can see this becoming a popular classic Burdastyle pattern. It is so easy and simple to sew up, and because it's got princess seam lines, you can easily adjust this to fit you. I have sewn it twice already, so you'll see another version of it later on once we've finished with the dancing. The waistband on the skirt pattern is a draft it yourself, so you can make it as wide as you want to, or you can skip it all together and just use a Petersham ribbon, which is what I did for the next one. It doesn't take up a lot of fabric. I think for this one it used 3/4 of a meter, so that's 75 centimeters. I'll just ignore the messing about in the background. We're just having so much fun, and I was just getting quite thirsty, but yeah, so the top is number 103. I apologize for my raspy voice, but I've been recording the voiceovers for at least a couple of hours as well. But I really love this top, and I definitely want to make more of these tops. What I would say about this particular top is because it's got that extra wide V neckline and raglan sleeves, you can't really make this with a slinky type of a jersey or a viscose type of a jersey, you know, the ones that have a ton of stretch in them. This sort of top is suited to a more stable t-shirt type jersey, so a cotton jersey. And the fabric that I use here is a cotton digital print jersey that I got from Fabrics for All. The skirt fabric is a sand washed linen, and it is just amazing. Or was it stone washed? I think it was stone washed, but yeah, it's overall it came out as a nice little outfit. For the waistband, I finished the raw edge with bias binding, and then I did some crack stitching, or stitching in the ditch, I believe it's what it's called. Here is the other version of the skirt that I made in a beautiful, really bright petrol colored needle cord fabric. So this one's a little bit shorter because I made this out of a 1/2 meter of fabric. I got the fabric from Fabrics for All, and I didn't put a waistband on it. I just did Petersham, and because it's needle cord, which is something that I would normally only wear in autumn or winter, it means that I'd have tights underneath it, so it needed to have lining. And so that's the lining there, which is a silk lining that I harvested from an old skirt, an old oversized skirt that I was never going to use, but the lining was just really beautiful. For the hem, in order to maximize the length, I used a ribbon, so that I only used like a 1/4 inch hem to sew it to the bottom and then fold it under. It's really beautiful. Needle cord crumples very easily, but it's worth it for the lovely texture and the colors. And that's the Petersham ribbon. Burdastyle 9 2020 number 114 was a skirt that I pretty much was love at first sight when I saw it in the preview, and then I got the magazine. I was just like, yep, I have to make this. One thing that I did miss out on when I was looking at the technical specifications and being super excited about it is that it is cut on the bias, and it meant that it was quite a challenging sew, actually. I thought that it would be pretty simple, but as you will know, cutting things on the bias and sewing bias seams can be very, very challenging. So the fabric that I use is a really beautiful, stable John Calder abstract print fabric, and I absolutely love this fabric. It's also polyester, though it doesn't look cheap, but it's also super easy care. I literally just put this in the washing machine and in the dryer, and it comes out looking like that. And because it's on the bias, I found that I had to take it in a lot on the sides, as you can see over there, and I had to reinforce and interface the side seam where the zipper was going to go. The waistband is a draft it yourself waistband pattern piece. I love the gentle high-low asymmetrical hem that it has going, and it just moves so beautifully. I would make this again with a thicker, more jacquardy like fabric so that it could hold that A-line flare. Staying on the theme of knits, I got this really wonderful, amazing cotton mix, a thick knit fabric from Fabrics for All. I got a 1/2 meter of it. Oh no, hang on, I got 3/4 of a meter because I wanted to try it out, and I used it to make my skirt. Then this is a self-drafted skirt. I have a video showing you how I came up with this particular skirt pattern. Super dead easy, doesn't take me half an hour to make. It's got an elasticated waistband, and I love this. I love this so much I went back to buy the fabric from Fabrics for All so that I could make myself an extra long cardigan. It doesn't unravel, so you can have these unfinished seams. Up next is from a sewing book called A Beginner's Guide to Sewing with Knitted Fabrics, which I highly recommend. It's the sort of book that I wish I was around when I started sewing, and I was so scared of sewing with knitted fabrics. It took me ages to do that, and this book is amazing. So those are the Monsal lounge pants made in a scuba fabric. Up next is Burdastyle 2020 number 103, and this is just simple, straightforward knit pants. And the reason why I chose this particular pattern from my absolute favorite Burda issue, by the way, was that I wanted some sort of like pajama pants. So I didn't want pockets in them because I think it's quite uncomfortable to have pockets in pajama pants. And the fabric is so gorgeously soft. It's a John Calder viscous fabric, and it's crazy soft, but it does stretch out quite a fair bit. As you can see there, my crotch kind of like is dropping down a bit, but it's okay. These hang around the house thingy. I found that the trouser hem was too wide for me, so I did a cuff which gave them a harem pants style look. We're back with Grasa in Russia, and it's Grasa number 569. So this is the second one that I've made before. You can check out the other one in part 2 of the sewing projects videos. The links will be in the description box, but I love this. It's such a perfect, cozy, warm top to wear, and I tend to actually wear it like this with those rosy trousers. And so for this one, I used a velvet ribbon as the tie to thread through, and it is so warm. And what makes this one so fabulous is the fabric, which I got from Fabrics for All. Sadly, she's sold out of this particular fabric, but it is a fur back sweater fabric which feels so soft. It is so cuddly and soft. My kids were making plushie toys from the scraps that were left over, but guys, I'm not kidding, I wear this thing all the time because it keeps me nice and warm and cozy. And you can see there what it looks like on the inside. The fabric washes so well. This has been in the wash a ton of times because I finished this months ago, and I have been wearing it, and it just performs really beautifully. The backing is so soft. You could make plushie toys out of this. It's just one of those things that you have to get yourself a sample and feel it. Right, up next is Burdastyle 2020 number 104, and this This is such, I loved sewing this so much because I made it during a time where there was just so much going on, which meant that I couldn't get any sewing done, but I just felt like I really needed to do some sewing and I needed the gratification of making something. And so I traced this and I whipped it up, in about an hour and a half, and I love it. And this gets worn so much. I used a new to me fabric company called Mind the Maker, and this is a quilted chevron fabric. So I had to pull this out of the dirty laundry hamper because it is in serious rotation, especially in winter. I love wearing it with leggings, and it's so warm and so cozy because of the fabric, but because of the style with those drop shoulders and the roll neck, it actually looks, I look a little bit put together when I do the school run. I also like to wear it belted sometimes, although I lose the belt later on as the day goes. And I like to wear it with the hat. That's kind of like my wintry hat. Yes, you made it. If you have watched until the end, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. I had to rush through there because it was a race against the dark gray cloud that was just looming over us. And we lost the sun halfway through the photo shoot, but we're still having so much fun with the music and the dancing. And I also hope that you had a great time as well. And so if you did find the video useful, entertaining, and informative, then please do give it a thumbs up down below. And do let me know which one is your favorite in the comments box. I always love to hear your thoughts and ideas and comments and any constructive feedback. And until I see you next time, guys, happy sewing. Bye.